Welcome back to your channel name, where we bring you deep dives into legendary tanks, military vehicles, and armored warfare. Today, we're looking at a piece of Soviet engineering that played a crucial role in early World War II battles, the T-28 medium tank. This was one of the first multi-turreted tanks ever developed, and while it may not have the same level of fame as the T-34, its impact on armored warfare was significant. If you enjoy military history, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into classic war machines. The T-28 was a Soviet medium tank developed in the early 1930s, intended to support infantry and break through enemy defenses. It was heavily inspired by the British Vickers A1E1 Independent and was one of the most advanced tanks of its time. Equipped with a large 76.2mm KT-28 cannon and multiple machine guns, it was designed to engage both enemy fortifications and infantry with ease. Unlike most tanks of the era, the T-28 featured 3 turrets, with a central main turret housing the main gun and 2 smaller turrets at the front for additional firepower. It first saw combat during the Soviet invasion of Poland in 1939 and was later deployed in the Winter War against Finland, where it encountered mixed success due to Finnish anti-tank tactics. However, by the time the Germans invaded the Soviet Union in 1941, the T-28 was already becoming outdated, as it struggled against more advanced German tanks like the Panzer III and Panzer IV. While there are obviously no new T-28 models rolling out in 2025, it's still fascinating to explore what's available for tank enthusiasts today. A handful of T-28s have been restored and are on display in museums around the world, with some even being fully operational. Military history buffs and collectors sometimes get access to these rare machines at events and exhibitions, offering a chance to see the T-28 in action decades after it was retired from combat. Under the hood, the T-28 was powered by a Michelin M17 V12 gasoline engine, producing 500 horsepower, which gave it a top speed of about 37 km per hour, 23 miles per hour on roads. While that might not sound fast by modern standards, for a tank of its era, it was quite respectable. The transmission was a manual 5-speed gearbox, requiring skilled operation by the driver. The tank's weight of nearly 28 tons meant that it wasn't the most agile vehicle on the battlefield, but it was still more maneuverable than many contemporary heavy tanks. In terms of fuel economy, the T-28 was not exactly efficient. It consumed around 200 liters of fuel per 100 kilometers, making long-distance operations logistically challenging. With a maximum range of 180 kilometers (110 miles) on a full tank, it needed frequent refueling, which could be a problem during prolonged combat. Compared to later Soviet tanks like the T-34, which had better fuel efficiency and mobility, the T-28 was certainly more of a gas guzzler. Inside, the T-28 was relatively spacious for a crew of 6, including a driver, commander, gunner, and loaders. The interior was basic and functional, with rudimentary controls and cramped conditions compared to modern armored vehicles. Comfort was not a priority, as Soviet engineers focused more on firepower and armor protection than crew convenience. The tank did feature a basic radio system in later models, which was a significant upgrade from earlier Soviet tanks that relied on signal flags for communication. When it comes to infotainment and connectivity, well, let's just say that wasn't a concern in the 1930s. Unlike today's tanks, which come equipped with advanced targeting systems, GPS, and communication suites, the T-28 had a simple optical sight for aiming and rudimentary radio equipment for battlefield coordination. However, in the context of its time, this was still a major step forward in tank technology, as many early Soviet tanks lacked even basic communication systems. On the topic of safety and driver assistance features, the T-28 had riveted armor, which proved to be a major weakness in combat. When hit by enemy fire, the rivets could break loose and become deadly projectiles inside the tank, a problem that was later addressed with welded armor in future tank designs. The armor thickness ranged from 15 mm to 80 mm in later upgraded models, offering some level of protection against small arms fire and light anti-tank weapons, but it was vulnerable to high-velocity anti-tank shells. Unlike modern tanks with explosive reactive armor and active protection systems, the T-28 had no real defensive countermeasures against incoming fire beyond its armor and mobility. In conclusion, the T-28 was a pioneering design that played a critical role in the early years of Soviet tank development. While it became outdated by World War II standards, it helped lay the foundation for the T-34, which would go on to become one of the most legendary tanks in history. Though only a handful of T-28s survive today, their legacy lives on in museums and historical reenactments. If you enjoyed this look at the T-28 and want to see more tank history content, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for future videos. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.